Islander fans. Welcome to Season 7, Episode 16. And we're going to do it like this. Where are you here? Nope, this is what I'm looking for. Move up, move up, move up. Where the hell are you guys? Here we go. We are either going to pull you guys back in to the season, or we're gonna push you off the ledge. we're gonna test your Islanders fandom here, guys. We're gonna have some fun on this one. Finally joining us here this morning. Good morning, everyone. Joe Panettiere. Joe, how are you?
Everything's good. How are you?
So far so good. Listen, Gary's pissed.
He should be.
He should be. Gary was going to be the one to try to pull everybody in, but not after last night's game. So we're going to give Gary a few more minutes. He will be here, but we're going to let Joe go first.
He doesn't want to come on right now because
he doesn't want to come on. That's right.
I don't like what I have to say.
He's so mad at you. He's so mad at you. I'll let you go first.
Listen, look, I look at it. You know, people look at it as I'm a big Islander fan. You know, from day one, 6 years old. You know, okay, blue and orange. But I look at it at I guess a different way. Like everybody's rah rah rah, yeah, go out, yeah, we're gonna do it. But you have to look at the way the team's playing. The game against Dallas. That should have been the catalyst of the style we play going into the playoffs. Heavy forecheck, forced turnovers, pressure the puck. The last three losses, I didn't see that. I mean, is it just me? Am I watching something different? Or, you know, but, okay, we lost 3 in a row. Okay, now we have to play the Hurricanes twice. Okay, correct. They're playing fantastic hockey. Okay. Yep. So that gives us 3 games, the 3 middle games against the Leafs, the Senators, and the Canadiens, which the Senators, that'll affect the wild card. The Canadiens will affect the wild card. Now we have, if you look at teams with games in hand, you have the Canadiens, Wings, and Senators, both with 2 games in hand. That affects the wild card. Our divisional games, Columbus, 88 points, game in hand. Flyers, 88 points, a game in hand. That hurts, okay? And I'll tell you why. Because we had a chance to distance ourselves where we would have forced those teams where they have to win their game in hand.
Right.
Okay? Which we didn't. We actually let the Flyers back into the playoff race. So now we have 2 teams chasing us for that number 3 slot. Okay?
Right.
I don't know what's happening with this team. Schaefer trying to rush the puck every time he has it, turning it over. Barzell, same thing, going north and south instead of east and west, turning the puck over. Their style, hi Gary, their style of game completely changed. And and who do you blame? Like I said before, the game against Dallas, that heavy forecheck, that was the game. That's the style of game we should be playing from that point on. And they're not doing it. Sorokin looks like he's washed up. He looks like he's tired. Okay? I mean, he's not even on pucks. He's not even coming out of his crease to challenge anymore. 3 games prior to the ones we lost, he was challenging every shooter. And the defense was there to clear the rebounds. They're not even hitting anybody in front of the net. A couple of games ago, Mayfield, I forgot who we were playing. They scored a goal. Mayfield was just standing there. Knock the guy on his ass. Take a penalty if you have to, not to give up that goal. Cross-check him. Knock him on his face. They're not physical. I don't know. Maybe they're just tired. I mean, you know, is it me? I mean, am I seeing?
No, it's definitely not you.
Am I seeing a different team from that Dallas game?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I got to say. I mean, the schedule doesn't favor us. We got the Canes twice.
No.
Okay, everybody has a game in hand. Some teams have 2 games in hand that affects the wild card. I mean, everything that favored us is now against us.
Right.
So that's it. That's what I have to say. I just don't like the way they're playing, and I think it's their style. Too many turnovers at the offensive blue line, and we got odd man rushes coming back the other way. What's happening? What happened to our defensive game? What happened to the system that we were playing against Dallas? 2-1-2 check. What happened to that? They're not doing it anymore. I mean, I know not having D'Angelo in the lineup hurts us, but that shouldn't be the reason why we don't make the playoffs within the next 5 games because D'Angelo's out. That shouldn't be the reason. So, hi, Gary. Over to you.
Oh, boy. Well, first of all, Joe, it's nice of you to show your butt up every once in a while, you know?
Well, you listen,
Only
you
when
guys
things get bad.
wait a
Only when
second. Wait. In all fairness,
Can
you
I
know
hide
what's
myself
going
here?
on.
Joe, I know. I know, but you're not getting away scot-free.
Sorry, Ma.
No, I totally understand that. And I'm
I'm just
empathizing,
joking.
you know. Hey, we're on camera right now. Screw it.
Exactly.
Where do I begin?
Oh, hold on,
Where
folks.
do
Let
I
me,
begin?
before Gary starts here,
Oh, God.
I'm going to reiterate this right now. Gary was going to try to pull the Islanders fandom away from the ledge. That was part of the show. Until last night's game. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a pissed off Gary Harding, one of my favorite all-time Islander fans when he's pissed. Gary, go for it, baby.
Oh, did you ever serve a softball up there, Paul?
Absolutely. Go for it, baby.
I'm putting my feet up right now in the recliner for this one.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm still not. I'm really on the fence. I mean, this is really a humbling thing, you know. It brings me back to the scene from the movie Miracle. Before the Russian game, you know, Kurt Russell, as Herb Brooks, come out and says, great teams come from great opportunity. And when you look back at the schedule and you looked, you know, like you said, right after the Dallas game, I'm like, okay, this is where you separate. You know, everything seems to be working. You know, you looked at the results on Thursday night. Every team lost. I'm like, oh, this is like throwing it on a silver platter. Now they just have to you know, take that serve and put it over the net. Well, you know, I want to keep it PG rated, but they really pooped the bed. And you know, between the Pittsburgh game and this game, I mean, we left the Pittsburgh game when it was 7-3, and we never leave games. But that's how flustered we are. And I kept saying to myself, you know what? They somehow came back a little bit against Buffalo. Some of it came back. Maybe they'll get their swagger with Philly. You know how tight it is. And Joe just said, you know, now they're in the hunt. And they didn't come to play. Simple and to the point. Philly came out and established themselves right away. You know, Watt called the timeout after the first couple of goals, and you figure, okay, you know, I could see him from my standpoint in the back of, you know, in the corner behind the net, far away, and I can see the red on his face. That's how I know he was seething. And I'm like, okay, he's yelling at the guys. Maybe they'll pick it up. They didn't. I mean, they look like more like the Toronto Maple Leafs have been looking like lately than their own team. They're not, as Joe said, they're not following their prophecy. They're not following the things that got them to where they are. Yes, both Paul and I think Joe too, you know, said in the beginning of the season, anything that works, you know, if they do better than what we expect, you know, it obviously gets gravy. But, you know, we've been teased all year by this team. And, you know, I'm walking out last night and I'm just like, usually I'm the one that complains, about people that, when everything's great, they're like, oh, we got Stanley Cup playoffs, we got third round coming, we're doing all this. And then the next night, the same people are saying, fire Walk, fire Darsh, get this guy out. We need Connor McDavid on this team, all this other stuff. I'm not that far, but it really burns me that a team comes out like that, when it's such an important game. And all I said to myself, and I think I even said it to Claire, I said, if we look this bad now, Carolina's going to beat them 9-0 in the first period. No, she even said right, so she agrees. Yeah. That's good. I really hemmed and hawed this morning while I was waiting for my car to get washed about what I was going to say. And I'm part of me still says, this team can pull it off, but I don't have that warm and fuzzy feeling. And of course, they're going to take our playoff payment in a couple of days or so. So I don't know. After the Dallas game, I said, you know what? If we had to play Carolina or we hosted Pittsburgh, I think we could have held our own. But now I can't say that anymore. And for me not to be able to, that tells you that something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
Gentlemen, what
sorry, I didn't get as animated and as crazy, but
I'm a little disappointed in you, but I know it's I know it's early in the morning for you, but
I've been up for 2 hours. Come on, what are you talking about?
Yeah. What if the effort was there against Pittsburgh, against Philly? What if they really lost like 4-3 or 3-2? What if it was just a really good hockey game? They came to play, but they just lost.
I wouldn't have a problem with that. Okay. I really wouldn't. If they put their game out there and lost in a shootout or lost by 1 goal, and to me put an effort out there, then, and everybody's going to say, that's the coach. That's the coach. That's the coach. No, it's not the coach. The coach isn't wearing skates. He could tell these guys all he wants, but the effort was not there. Okay? They looked like a bunch of 12-year-olds skating around, not knowing where their position is and what they look like. They were terrible. They were absolutely terrible. At a game where they needed to establish themselves. They were the only Eastern Conference game last night. So in other words, the whole NHL was looking at them. And people that don't watch this team on a daily basis like we do, what would they walk away with after that game? This team doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs. Bottom line. We always keep saying, next game mentality. This has got to be better. This has got to be better. Well, unfortunately, tonight they're going to have to play a Stanley Cup Game 7 type game tonight. Agreed. And do I have confidence that's going to happen? No. I have no confidence at all. This is the type of no confidence that in Europe would lead to a parliamentary election and a changeover. That's how I feel. And I didn't, again, we didn't expect to be playoff hunting like this and be in an advantage. And now we've given up that advantage to the other teams. They've got that game in hand, as Joe was saying, as I just came on. So, this is like, to me, probably the biggest show me game in years. I hope every single player on that flight to Raleigh last night was like punching the seat in front of them, because they got to find, especially with a team like Carolina, who's going to do nothing but pound shots and pound shots and pound shots. And now they've got the physicality to go with it. It's going to be, and pardon the pun, but using the West Side Story reference, the Jets and the Sharks. It's got to be one of those pound the living crap games. that they've got to pull off here. And I just don't have that warm and fuzzy feeling. And you know me, everybody that's watched this show for years and years and years. I try to find a silver lining. I try to find something positive. I'm not positive right now. And you can quote me on April 4th. You know, I don't know.
If you look at Carolina, their last, I'd say 5 or 6 games, they're showing people this is what you're going to get when you face us in the first round or in the playoffs. I mean, they're setting the tone. Okay, they're physical, which they're going to push us around. Okay, I mean, we do not play well against teams that are bigger than us. Okay, and we're going to see that tonight. Let's see what they bring. But I'll tell you right now, if they lose tonight, well, I look at it this way. Let me not even say it that way. If the Islanders could go 3-1-1 the rest of the way, I think we sneak into the playoffs. You got to find some way to take that game in hand. And last night was the game. Take that game in hand away from the teams that are chasing you, which right now are Columbus and the Flyers. Last night, I think if they beat the Flyers, they basically take them out of the picture. Yep. But now you let them back in. As far as our play, again, bringing up the Dallas game, to me, that was the structure we need to play the rest of the way. Okay?
That's playoff hockey.
I mean, you could see what teams are doing. I would love to see in the last 3 losses we had, how many odd man rushes we had coming back the other way from either Schaefer or Barzell turning over the puck at the offensive blue line. I would love to see how many odd man rushes went back the other way. Because teams right now, they're playing the type of game where they're shutting us down through the neutral zone, and our players are going in like Paul, we talked before, 1-on-2, 1-on-3. Okay? And then the team, they're turning over the puck, and then they're getting the odd man rushes coming back. So I to me, it's our style of play that changed everything. I think the effort is there, but I think it's the style of game that all of a sudden just changed. I mean, come on, you shut down Dallas with a heavy forecheck, a 2-1-2 forecheck. You slowed them down through the neutral zone, and now you're playing a wide open game. I mean, pick your spots when you're going to rush the puck up. You got to pick your spots. You can't do it every time you have the puck. Teams are waiting. You watch the teams; they got 4 men waiting at the blue line for the Islanders to try and get into that zone. So that's it. That's my 2 cents.
So
Paul's got that poop eating grin on his face for whatever reason.
No. Are you, Joe? I know you are short on time today. You've got some things to do, but are you pulling Islander fans in? Are you gonna push them off the ledge, or are you gonna go jump with them? Where's your fandom at the moment?
We have Carolina twice, which it's going to hurt us, okay? Because they're going to say, all right, you get 3rd place, you play Pittsburgh. Say you beat Pittsburgh, you're going to face us. They're setting an example for all the other teams that they're showing all the other teams what they're going to face in the playoffs now. Okay, they're rolling. They're getting their game in gear. They're playoff ready. They're battle tested. They've been through their darker moments during the season, which weren't many because they basically led the division most of the season. Hey, listen, I say if we win tonight, we're in good shape. If we lose, I think we missed the playoffs by 3 points. If we lose tonight, that's my prediction. I'm not saying we're going to make the playoffs. It's going to be tough. We're playing 2 teams that are battling for playoff spots with the Senators and the Canadians. They're gonna look to better their positioning naturally. The Leafs, not even going to say it's an easy game because they have no pressure on them. The Leafs, all the pressure's on us. They could come in, they could play their game, and that's what's going to make it tough. But I think if we win tonight, we got a good shot of sneaking in. And but if we lose, I think we miss it by 3 points because I think that's going to be the nail in the coffin if we lose tonight.
Fair enough, bud. You did good, Joe. Welcome back.
My pleasure.
I forgot what you looked like.
How could you forget this head? Right.
Well, no, Paul usually shows the other picture. That's why I forgot.
Yeah,
right,
yeah, no.
Guy.
I know. There he is.
All right, guys, listen. My cousin Danny Goodman is pitching for Clark. He's facing it's his first start, left-handed pitcher. He's facing a Division III team, and they're ranked number 4 in the country. So I'm looking forward to watch his first start. So
nice.
Well, all right, I'm going to jump out. Take care, everybody. Hopefully, we win tonight and we keep everything going. And that's it. Let's go Islanders.
Yep. God bless the family too, Joe. Hope everything's getting better.
Yeah, same with you. Same with you and Paul. Absolutely. Talk to you later. Happy Easter, everybody. Joe. Happy Passover. All right. Bye-bye.
Who is this Joe guy?
Of course.
And yes, Randy's got to be awake at 7:20 in the morning.
Yeah, I know. Happy Passover to everyone and happy Easter for everyone celebrating those holidays. Forgot to get into that one. And also, we're going to do a personal shout out here to Tommy's nephew, Carson. Our thoughts and prayers are with Carson and his family. We are all well aware of what he's been going through, especially as of late. So, Tommy, we are thinking of you and your family at the moment and much longer than that, though. I'm gonna kind of put it like this. I am gonna push you guys off the ledge.
Of course you are.
I am. And this is not hate on the Islanders. This is not one of those. This is not one of those moments where I hate the Islanders. I hate what they've done. Everything. No. A big problem. I shouldn't even say that. It's natural. The thing that the negativity and the positivity, the negative and the positive, you're all the one thing you all have in common is that you're both right. There was plenty of positive to look at this year, but the negative is also there. The problem that you all have at this moment, and you're not coming together on this, is that you guys are going to have probably the same outcome, which is a straight line to either a first round playoff matchup against a very tough team, or you don't make the playoffs at all. Some of these players, some of the fans wanted to get younger. Some of these fans wanted to tank. They wanted a higher draft pick. They didn't mind the losing as long as we got a higher draft pick. Okay? What I think a lot of fans are not taking into consideration, forget the players for the moment, forget the coach for a moment. Those were business decisions made at that trade deadline. Business decisions. Getting to the playoffs is a business decision. Getting that playoff money is a business decision. Correct. They're not going to when the playoffs are right there. Angie's correct on that. Matthew Schaefer. The other common piece that all the negative and the positive people, all the fans have in common is Matthew Schaefer. He has completely changed the way the Islanders are going to do business. What are we right now? You're a team in transition, and it's coming into fruition, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately for my younger fans, Tommy's going to know this as soon as I say this. Okay? Tommy's going to recognize this in a minute. The last time the Islanders were stacked with prospects and a team that went pretty deep into the playoffs for a transitional period, believe it or not, were the fish stick years. 95, 96, 97. We've had this discussion before with several players from the 90s back then. There were no real locker room issues. Most of those players, if the money was right, they all would have stayed. They all love Long Island. Imagine the 93 team. Granted, expansion also played a role. Okay? But you get the 93 team. You throw in names like Todd Bertuzzi. You throw in names like Brian McCabe. You throw in names
Ziggy Palfy.
like Ziggy Palfy. Maybe Tommy Salo, but that was under Arizona Coyotes gentleman. Maloney. Okay, maybe that. You still had Darius Kasparaitis 3 years in, 2 years in. You had Travis Green, a younger Travis Green. Look, even if the money was there, guys, maybe you had Pat LaFontaine and Ziggy Palfy on the line. Imagine that. The 1990s are a completely different team. You didn't get rid of him. Newsflash, you didn't get rid of him. He's still there. Older and slower team for now. And the reason why, and we're going to throw this, and Gary, we're not going to completely say everything from that meeting with Darsh, because I don't want, the people who went there, that's still a little fresh. So we're going to keep that with them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, Tommy. All of those players with those prospects, they all came together mid-90s. The mid-90s are a completely different topic now. Money's not an issue. You're still at Nassau Coliseum, folks. With maybe, I'll even go pro here, maybe a Stanley Cup or two. Maybe we upset Jersey every once in a while. Or maybe we upset Philly. The mid-90s are a completely different situation. The mid-90s would have been a completely different storyline. The Islanders right now are in that same phase of the late 80s to early 90s. And you got to remember, before the Islanders won, it was the Utah Grizzlies and the Colorado Grizzlies, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Denver, yeah.
Denver, thank you. Yeah. Before the IHL trophies were won, the Islanders also won the Calder Cup in the American League. That brought you your Marty McGinnis's, your Dennis Vasquez, your younger players.
I was there.
You were there.
Mm-hmm.
Springfield, right? Was that Springfield?
Mm-hmm. Springfield Indians.
Springfield Indians. Okay. Folks, we have not been in the spot like this in 30, 40 years now. If you take a look at all the championship teams now, even their minor league systems, are going deep into the playoffs. And I have said this for years now. After you win a Calder Cup, except for Detroit, most teams, their NHL parent teams, are in the playoffs by year 2. For the next year, about 50 shot. But by year 2, there's a 70% chance of making it into the playoffs at the NHL level. You're going old and slow right now because Darsh is preventing you from seeing the younger kids play for now. They're not ready. Whether you like it or not, they're not ready. I know everyone's loving Eklund, but let's be honest. Yes, he's got a couple of points in 4 games, but no goals. You're just bringing up another younger player? No. Cole Eiserman has 1 goal. These guys just got here. What Bridgeport and soon to be Hamilton need to learn to do is win in these bigger, stressful situations, so that way, in a few years' time, we won't have shows like this anymore. Why are the Islanders always going into the last wild card spot? Why can't the Islanders just win instead of just showing up? Why are we seeing games against Philadelphia and against Pittsburgh or whoever? These kids are going to learn that culture, that mindset that, okay, this is a must win. Let's act like it. These kids are not going to be rushed.
That's been a problem of past
Decades.
general managers and past lives.
Decades. Like, we're talking decades. David, part of me agrees with that, but I will go further. Ottawa was injured all season. Washington was pretty much injured all season. Philadelphia even had their injuries. There were a lot of injured teams other than the Islanders, and they dropped. I don't want to call it load management here, but this kind of feels like a load management from some of these teams. Some of these players have only played less than 50 games or so, and now they're all healthy, coming in at the last minute. That's something the Islanders cannot control. They're playing the 18 and 20-year-olds because they've been losing already. Philadelphia has been in the lottery league now for God knows how long. Detroit's been in the lottery league for so long now. Buffalo finally has it. Okay, they're playing their 18 to 20-year-olds to draw in attendance because their older guys are just not doing it. Like, they wouldn't. Some of these other teams with their older guys, they're not coming as close as the Islanders are right now. Plus, those 18 to 20-year-olds, they're elite. They're going to draw them in. But the problem is, some of those teams with the 18 to 20-year-olds, they're not making the playoffs. And that's what the billionaire owners are looking for. So look at Chicago. How many 18 to 20-year-olds have they had? How many playoff appearances? None. San Jose is making a push. Thank you, Macklin Celebrini, but you needed a Macklin Celebrini to get just to the bottom of the NHL playoffs. And then you have the Anaheim Ducks, who basically took the President's Trophy Rangers, brought them over to Anaheim, got a little bit older with the experience, and now they're in a playoff spot. Granted, division, we can both agree that the division is a little weak, right? But here they are. I'd rather watch young players lose Then an old fat cat show up every other game. Pellick and Pullock should have been dealt. While they're worth something to a cup contender, like we did with Nelson, not enough talent up front. Trotz knew it, and we play shutdown defense. We don't do anything well. Why do you want? And this is actually, John, this is going to be part of my season end review. Why? And Gary saw me have this conversation with a couple of at the meet and greet too, with a couple of fans as well. Why do you want the Islanders to suck? Why do you want the Islanders to suck? Bringing in younger players does not guarantee anything. Not in this league anymore. Folks, you need 97, 98 points minimum to make the playoffs. And you want to do it with an 18, 19, 20-year-old? Matthew Schaefer has spoiled you. The younger you get, the
generational.
more you're going to have. Yes. Go ahead, Gary.
No, I'm just going to say you have a kid that they're saying, this is a once in, and McCarr is the same way, a once in 25-year generational player. You can't sit there and expect every 18, 19-year-older to be what he is. Eklund's, as Paul said, Eklund's got talent. There's no question about it.
No doubt.
But he is nowhere near that level. And you got to face it. You can't just say, bring them up. You can't bring them up. And you don't bring them up in this environment where every game is ultra critical. You don't bring, I'm going to say the word raw, but it's not really raw, but it's just inefficient experience. You don't put somebody in there. You can't expect, just putting it in like work relations. If you work for a construction company, you're not going to put a kid working 1 week on a big digger and expect him to do the job. You don't do that. You got to build them to there. And for the first time in a very, 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 very long time, this organization is a pipeline.
Right.
We don't have to just bring a kid up for the sake of bringing the kid up because you need bodies in the stands. Yeah, I mean, yes, it worked with Matthew, but it's not going to work every time. It's going to work very few times. Look at our history. Again, I keep bringing the name Dave Chizowski. For those of you older fans, I mean, the younger fans don't know, but for all you older fans, this guy was, pardon the expression, the next coming of Jesus Christ.
Right.
And all he was responsible for was breaking about every pane of glass at Caniac Park. Okay? You can't measure the hype. Okay? If this was game 5 and he was in Bridgeport and you had 3 guys injured or whatever, you may bring that kid up. But you're not bringing them now. Not at this point. And you have, again, for the first time, I would say, and Paul backed me up on this, I would say since the first 2 years of the Bridgeport Sound Tigers, you've got a group of guys that can be developed down there, build their game, learn a winning game. And Rocky Thompson, to me, has done an absolutely incredible job with these guys. You've got a minor league coach that gets it.
Right.
And he's going to take those guys and build them and mold them. He hasn't had the most offensive talent. He hasn't had the most defensive talent, but he's made those guys learn to win.
Right.
And learn to play the system.
Right.
You have to trust the system.
Right.
So anybody says a word that Eklund belongs in the NHL right now, just get off this channel and stay off it. That's where I'm going to push.
I'm going to answer this question. What are we watching? And I'm going to answer that. Is this team burnt out? My answer is yes. See, I can be brutal like this. I don't care about Islander fans' feelings. Is this team burnt out? Probably. Did they lose that momentum after the Olympic break? Probably. All of the older players have hit up their numbers. Forget Palat. Forget Susie. Okay? They weren't here to bring in goals. They were here to protect Sorokin because Sorokin was, no offense to Schaefer, Sorokin's a big reason why the Islanders are still in it. And yes, for some of you who are trying to point out that, he has not been playing well, he was playing Vezina level to now playing to his average. Okay? They're losing as a team. They're losing very well as a team. This is not one person. Chris, we're going to answer this question. At that meet and greet with Matthew Darsh. And Gary, correct me if I'm wrong, because you were closer to Matthew at that one. Darsh had basically said that he really wants the veterans to finish up this season, and he wanted to keep all of the younger players down in the minors and let the veterans finish off this season. That would have included Isaiah George had D'Angelo not gotten injured. Did you hear that also correctly? Because that was one of the beginning.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, we got to remember one thing. Next season, you get Alexander Romanov back.
Right.
That's like almost like a free agent signing based on this year. And we've gone this far and done all this without your biggest hitting defenseman.
Right.
So next year, again, we're all speculating, but obviously I don't see Susie here. Obviously, I don't see Boquist here. And you get Romanov back.
Right.
So that still gives you the opportunity to let an Isaiah George or a Marshall Warren or them come. And again, I think it's going to be George because of his experience. I think, he'll get the chance. And, unfortunately, we have Stone Skates Mayfield to deal with, but let's face it, folks, you're not going to see a deal for him. You're just not. Go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry I interrupted.
No, I was just going to say, fans have to remember there's a new CBA coming. Sometimes the NHL will allow some cap management before the next CBA comes in. I'm not sure yet if that's going to be allowed. But if there's some cap management that is allowed after a new CBA has been taken care of, then you might see some movement.
But don't depend everything on it.
Yeah, the injuries do happen. And what I think Islander fans need to realize moving forward, Tommy, as well, is that the injuries are going to play a much bigger role now because of the depth. The depth is going to get thinner around the league because we are getting, expansion as well. And a lot of these teams, especially in the Eastern Conference, look, we've got 11 teams vying for 8 spots right now in the playoffs. I may even throw Washington in there for fun. 12 teams right now. 12 teams vying for 8 spots. And we're down to the last 5 games of the season. That's incredible. You need the depth. The injuries are going to happen, like Tommy said. But I think they're going to be more impactful now, especially in the Eastern Conference, because everyone's ready to go. Palat and Susie, I know you guys have been hard on them. I didn't expect them to score goals this year, and that's the other thing I think a lot of fans had been doing. They
And
were
Susie's
changing.
got 3.
What's up?
And Susie's got 3 here.
Yeah.
And Palat scored the first minute of his first game. Hasn't done anything since.
Right.
Again, he does look. Again, I see it, and I'm sure Paul sees it. There are things that a former Stanley Cup winner and a guy that's played 900 games in the league, you could see certain things that the average fan is not going to see. So I'm not going to rip them to shreds, but offensively, numbers tell the story. It doesn't tell the whole thing, but it tells a visible story to others.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like the old song, the get up and go must have got up and went. And I think the last 3 games, it's got up and went very far.
Yeah. Again, the losing guys is not on 2 players only. This is a total team effort. It's a total team effort when you're losing to Pittsburgh this bad, when you've lost to Montreal that bad, you're not showing up against Philadelphia in your home rink. That's a team effort. It's not just a slow old guys. The Islanders also repeated a pattern this year, granted out of necessity, but I'll get into that on my season-ending review. This is a total team effort. It's a total team effort for the next 5 games.
Yep.
You're going to see what a total team effort is for the next 5 games. Also agreed. And then now you got to play Boquist over Tony DeAngelo. Careful there. It's tough. Injuries are going to play a role probably for one more season. This was supposed to happen, guys. I'll be that guy again that, pushes you forward over the Brooklyn Bridge, over the cliff, whatever you want. This was supposed to happen. And what you guys are going to find out later on is that it's really not on the players. The effort level, yes, that's a total team effort. That's something Joe and Gary are absolutely spot on. But you guys are going to be really surprised when we do the season-ending review. I don't want to say I saw it coming, but the patterns were there. The patterns were there, and there's reasons why I still stayed on I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. But what I agree wholeheartedly with Gary and Joe is that effort. And I think we can all agree on that. That effort has to be there. I think if they were losing 3-2, 4-3, even 5-4, okay, I can live with that. But now you're not showing the effort over the last 7 games. That's going to be tough. And yeah, you're right. You're not wrong. They cannot keep up with teams who have been injured all season long, and now all of a sudden they're healthy. Even Pittsburgh's been injured this whole time.
Yeah, Crosby's been out twice. Malkin's been out. He's been suspended.
Yeah.
Letang's been out for a good period of time. And you're getting contributions up and down that lineup.
Yeah.
With goaltending that is still extremely questionable.
Sure.
I don't trust Stuart Skinner as far as I can throw him.
Right. And look at what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is something that as not just Islander fans, but NHL fans, we're going to have to get used to this condensed schedule. It's going to happen more and more often, guys.
And remember, you're getting 2 more regular season games next year.
Yeah. I mean, look, Palat was playing for the Devils. Susie was playing for the Rangers. They might be burnt out already, long before they showed up to the Islanders. Okay, there's a lot of work to put in when you're on those 2 teams, always injured. This is going to be a different lifestyle for a lot of these players. Bingo. This is something that the negative people, I don't want to call them people, the negative mindset fans and the positive mindset fans, this is something you have in common, guys. The mentality of this game And this shouldn't have to be on Patrick Waugh, just on Patrick Waugh. I'm sorry. We like making fun of all the old guys here. They know what they're supposed to do to win at this point. And it's not there. And the question honestly is, are they burnt out? I'm going to go with yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with yes. They went as far as they could. Look, I was kind of hoping for them. My hope, forget the goal. My hope was 87 to 92 points. But I didn't see the Eastern Conference doing what they're doing this year either. If the Islanders get 9th or 10th, as far as I'm concerned, I'm ecstatic because I was not expecting this. Thank you, Matthew Schaefer. Honestly, I don't care if you're negative or positive. You got spoiled this season.
Yes, you did.
You got spoiled.
And I mean, as bad of a game, as Matthew played last night. And again, Claire doesn't always see every single thing, but she saw it. But all considering those last 7 minutes, I mean, the game should have been 7-1, 10-1 instead of excluding what Matthew did, saving basically not one, not two, but 3 empty net goals. And they made a big thing about that on the NHL.com X site. So,
right.
Again, we've been spoiled out of our gourd. And in 2 years' time, and you can mark our words, 2 years' time, we're going to talk about a playoff push with Eklund and Aitchison and Danny Nelson and all these guys that are ready, are going to be ready then to make that jump and keep them with the Horvats and Barzals and everybody else. And yes, you're going to see good things if everything goes to plan. And I always put the if on, but in talking with Darsh last week and hearing what he's saying, you got to understand this guy came from an environment that preached building within and getting what it takes to win at the NHL level. He's been there. He's gone through it. You think he's just going to come here and be a complete fool? No. He knows he's got that plan. He knows what he's doing. I haven't felt that way since Bill Torrey. Okay? No general manager that's been here has given me 100% comfort in what they're doing and what their plan is right now than Matthew Darsh is. So don't try to, I'm trying to think of the right words to say, but don't try to deter him after year one.
Right.
You all sat here with us in September and we all said, and again, me as trying to be positive about everything, but both Paul and I said, we think we're going to come up just short. Are the results, forgetting what the individual games were in the last week, the overall results better than we thought? You bet they are. Is the future bright? You bet it is. But we've got 5 games left, 2 against Carolina, as everybody said, Toronto, Montreal, and I forget the 5th. Ottawa, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
But not only time to put the big boy pants on, but make sure they're strapped in, because I want to see the first 5 minutes, pardon the expression, balls to the wall. They've got to show this fan base tonight, especially with a team like Carolina waiting in the horizon, that if they want to be there, if they want to start playing come April 17th, not only they got to give themselves, but the fan base, they got to give them a reason why. Last night was not a reason why. Last night was a complete horror show. Monday night was a complete horror show. I won't say Tuesday was a complete horror show. I thought they played okay against Buffalo. Just couldn't get the breaks. But, this has to stop. That injection that you're trying to, trying to find the right word again. Panacea, something to stop the spread of a disease. It's got to happen tonight. And what I usually say is look at the first 5 minutes. 5 minutes is the key. If they come out guns a-blazing, then maybe message was received. But every game now for these last 5 games, they've got to come out and set the tone. As Herb Brooks said in the movie, play your game. Don't play to the other team. Play your game. If they do that, as we saw in the Dallas game, where they established their game, this team can be good. This team can be very special. But if they come out flat again against Carolina, a team that will keep pounding and pounding shots on you all night long, then your Easter dinner on tomorrow is going to be pretty disappointing.
Gary, I know you do have to go because you have another engagement, but I wanted to take care of this question.
I'm fine.
Okay. Again, out of respect for the meet and greet that we had with Matthew Darsh last week, I'm going to answer this question by saying I don't think this will be a Matthew Darsh decision if Patrick Waugh is let go at the end of the season.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Again, out of respect to that, to the fans that were there at the meet and greet, you guys already know that answer. I think that's going to be a business decision, not necessarily a hockey decision. Having said that, has this team overachieved? Yes. Did they make it to the playoffs? No. The Islanders ownership group, they want playoffs every year. They want some kind of results driven and whatnot. At the same time, let's all be honest with each other here. The only time we honestly thought UBS Arena was going to get sold out was during the Ranger games, the Devils games, and the game against Boston and the game against Montreal, because those fans are just religious and they come down and they fill every arena anyway. The Islanders, and again, thank you, Matthew Schaefer, but the team itself have sold out more games this year than even they expected. I think if Patrick Waugh stays, it is a business decision, and I'll leave it at that. Anything you want to add to that one, Gary?
No, you put it right on the head.
Okay.
And everybody's going to say, about him that, he barked at his players and his players didn't answer. That's the coach's fault. No, yes, it's got a part to do with it, but it's not the whole thing. As Paul was saying, it's everything. It's everything. Players play, yes. Coaches coach, yes. But if they're not on the same page, it doesn't matter what you do or what effort you put out there. It's got to be a combination of the both, and they both have to be on the same page.
I'm going to answer this one, Joe. Gary, what has Shen shown you? It's the same thing that Bo Horvat has shown me. It's the same thing that Jonathan Drouin has shown me. It's the same thing that Anthony Duclair has shown me. It takes a while to get the Patrick Waugh's system down with the players that are currently here. Is Shen putting up points? Yes. Is he putting up more points than Jonathan Drouin? Yes. Would I like Jonathan Drouin's two-way game over Braden Shen at the moment? Yes. But the other issue that I have seen is that there is a lot, and I mean a lot, of line shuffling going on. You cannot gain any kind of consistency in a system unless you're playing with the same players for an extended period of time. Granted, I used to play goalie. I didn't have to worry about that. But guys, in the chat room, tell me I'm wrong. You need to have some kind of consistency. And every free agent who has come in here, at least in their first year, have always struggled with Patrick Wa's system. And again, I'm I don't want to be blunt and honest. I mean, the Islanders.
You always are.
I mean, the Islanders finished up with 90 on a 96-point pace at the trade deadline. I don't care what happens here on out. They did what they needed to do. They're still in it. Okay, if they make the playoffs, great. If they don't make the playoffs, they're not as bad as what I had expected them to be. My expectations of this team did not change this season. When I had the Islanders shitting the bed and something else changed, that's a learning experience for me. What am I learning about the Islanders? What am I learning about the NHL? Because let's be honest, we all had Pittsburgh. We all had Philadelphia down in the bottom, and look what's happening. Okay, what are we learning from this season? What are we learning about the Islanders this season? This has been more of a learning year for me, and just trying to observe than coming out with comments or predictions or anything else. Yes, I've got numbers on the spreadsheet that measures behaviors and whatnot from the Islanders and whatnot. I can get that later. Some of that stuff, most of that stuff is still true, but it's the team itself. They've overachieved. Run with it. Shen was brought in to mentor Richie. Okay. I got a problem with that, but that's at the end of the season. Free agents who come in for Patrick Wa's system tend to struggle their first year. That's a repeating pattern. That's true, Malcolm. What are you going in bold letters for? What the hell are you yelling at us for, Tommy? Sign a 50-goal scorer. You can't. They're all on 8, 9-year contracts, 10-year contracts. Can't do it. No, you're not in the minority. This has been absolutely exciting. The Islanders have messed with your emotions to a T this year. Some of that's on the PR department, but we'll get into that on the season-ending review too. I'll get yelled at for that one. I can't wait for that one. No, Tommy, I actually want to go, and again, season-end review. I had this done already. I don't know if I want to put Wa in that Ted Nolan or Steve Sterling category. He's not Doug Weight. He's not Doug Weight. I would put Wa somewhere in that Ted Nolan or Steve Sterling, somewhere in there, and I'll explain my reasonings later on. Joe, who are we talking about? Are we talking about Palat? Are we talking about Susie's not there, but
Probably
Palat's
Shen. Probably Shen.
Oh, Shen? Yeah. Shen was brought in for other reasons. And look, I hate to break it to you guys, but why would any other team help out the Islanders when they just drafted a generational talent?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. Why? Why would they help out the Islanders? You guys don't understand. General managers, when it comes to this business, they hate each other. There's no love here.
Especially when you get a brand new general manager and a
Yeah.
generational player gets thrown into his lap.
Right.
There's other general managers and going, why not me? Why him? Why the new guy? Why does the new guy get this? Well, we walked into it.
Yeah.
And now you got to take that. You got to take that walking in and build around it.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to post this up here again.
Let me just put 2 cents in on Shen.
Go ahead.
You know, he has never been a 90-point scorer.
No.
He's never, very few times has he been a 50 or a 60-point scorer.
Right.
You're getting the same guy in 2026 that he was in 2017, 2018, 19 when he won the cup with St. Louis. It's the same player. It's not the fastest. He's not the slowest. Because if you look back in his analytics and you look at his top speeds and stuff, he's up with the rest of them. He's not a slow player. It's just the way his game is. He's ultra physical. You know, most of the times when you saw or when you heard the crowd getting crazy on a hit, it was neither the fourth line or Braden Shen or Emil Heineman. Shen is physical. Shen defends his teammates. That's experience. That's what you want on a team that if they were solidly in a playoff spot, that's the guy you want out there. Without question, you want him out there. So any of these video game general managers that thought, you know, oh, he's only a 75 rating or whatever. He doesn't fit for this team. Stop it. Get a dose of reality and look at the player. Look at everything around that player. Those are things, intangibles that you can't put a metric on. Now, I'm a person that deals with metrics and analytics all day long in my regular job. Okay. But there are some things you can't quantify. And how many times did Paul and I go over the years talking about a certain player on this team that's been gone for the last 2 years that you couldn't quantify his statistics and quantify what he does on the ice? You could say the name of it, Claire. Exactly. That's my point. Okay, you look at
the people in the back.
What?
A little louder for the people in the back.
Yeah, say it louder, Claire.
Josh Bailey.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I should have known that one.
But just please, for the love of God and everything high holy on this Easter weekend, stop looking at people based on a video game. Look at the entirety of their play. Okay? I look at Palat. Yes, I think that was not a good move. Okay? But I look at Shen, and I think that was a very good move because you got rid of somebody in Drouin who, yes, when he's on and when he's good, he's got a great two-way 200-foot game. But guess what? He's on the bench. He's in the press box in St. Louis. Yes, St. Louis is 4 points from a playoff spot in that crappy Western Conference. But it's not because of Jonathan Drouin. So look at the entirety. Don't just look at what you're seeing on the ice. You got to spread that angle of the aperture of your lens. You got to look at it from a whole way out. Okay? That's the way Paul looks at the game. That's the way I look at the game. That you can't just be centered on numbers on a spreadsheet. Does it help you understand the player? Yes, of course it does. I know that from my life and analytics and analysis. Yes, it does. But it's two-dimensional. There's 3 dimensions in this world, and you got to look at the third. That's all I'm telling you. I'm not saying people are wrong or right or whatever, but if you don't look at the 3 dimensions, then you're not really looking at it correctly. Hope I gave you a good lesson, kids.
I'm going to throw this out there for those of you who have not followed the show. Thank you. I've been covering the draft now since that Josh Bailey draft, 2008. Okay. You guys are so worried about giving up picks and whatever prospects for the old guys. You have Matthew Schaefer. Do you understand what that means, Islander fans? You don't need second, third, fourth round picks moving forward. You want to keep your first rounders? You want to pull a Dallas Stars? Okay. Tell me the last time Tampa actually drafted someone. It's like one every 5 or 6 years. You have a generational player, according to some fans, who have already had 3 players move their waiver to be traded here. This kid is infectious. You're going to attract every free agent moving forward. Why are you worried about draft picks? When was the last time Islander fans could say that? It's not John Tavares. John Tavares, we were in a rebuild in a building that couldn't afford anything. You now have the money. Yes, you have some older players who are going to keep you competitive. Yes, you now have a prospect pool that is going to develop and get better. But now you have that one player that everyone's going to want to play for. Forget pro scouting. And I say this jokingly. You don't need a pro scout anymore for like the next 10 to 15 years. If Matthew Schaefer continues to do what he's doing, you're going to have players. Hey, what's it going to take to come to Long Island? What the hell are you guys worried about? Picks and prospects. You guys have been coming at me. Oh, Schaefer's the greatest thing. You know, he's the generational. He's the best. He's the best since Bobby Orr. Okay? When the hell are you guys going to be worried about draft picks moving forward? You're not.
Draft picks. Draft picks. What about draft picks?
Do you understand I may never have to do the draft again? If you guys are that sure with Matthew Schaefer, you're never going to have to draft again because the free agents who are going to be younger and willing to come now and able to play, come on.
I mean, Shen said it. Shen said it straight out when he got traded. I lifted my claws because of Matthew Schaefer. He said it. If that doesn't give you any clarity, then you're not following the game. This is the start of something huge. And again, we don't have to be, I'll call us intelligent hockey students to know that. Okay? Could you imagine what Bobby Orr would have been like if he played in 2025? Holy crap.
Okay. Michael, you know where I'm going with this. Yes, they're still going to draft and everything else. They're going to use those players to draft and probably trade those players or picks to bring in the immediate help now. We get that. But let me ask you, the Florida Panthers, when they won, how many of those actually were drafted by the Florida Panthers? 4? Maybe 5 on this hand? Maybe? Out of the 23? That's the way this is all coming in, guys. Look at Colorado. Yes, McKinnon. Yes, Makar.
Landeskog.
Who else? Landeskog. That's 3. Not Kadri, not Nelson. The best
Not the
teams.
Cushion, not the goaltenders.
No. You just had Sam. I think Gerard was there. He got traded over to was it Pittsburgh?
Yeah, Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my point, Michael. The Islanders got someone in Matthew Schaefer. If you guys are this sure about Matthew Schaefer, like Florida was with Barkov, you can do anything you want now. And it's going to be a lot quicker than you guys think. Joe, we're multitasking. We do this all the time. I promise you, we do this all the time. Players are more likely to wait for a trade, for a trade clause or for a cup contender. Yeah. Yeah. Guys, if the Islanders miss the playoffs, it might just be for next year. After that, strap in. Strap in. You're going to have free agents who are going to want to play for this kid just because they love this kid. They love who he is. Honestly, when was the last time Pittsburgh actually had to do some scouting in the pros? They had Mario back in '84. Then they had Sid with Yager somewhere in between there. Who doesn't want to play for Mario? Who doesn't want to play for Sid?
Who doesn't want to play for McKinnon?
Who doesn't want to play for McKinnon? Who doesn't want to play for McCarr?
Or McDavid, even.
Yeah. The Islanders are in a spot right now where everything is at their disposal. Everything. Exactly. They'd rather play with him. Yeah. I would feel more confident in your approach if Darsh didn't get taken to the cleaners this season, but it had to be done. He does not. All right. He does not want to bring up the kids for the same reasons I've been saying for years. They're just not ready yet.
You can't fall into that trap, Mike.
Yeah. That, honestly, Michael, this right here, the kids coming up early has been a organizational trap for decades. Bringing up and rushing the players is the reason why you're still what you guys consider the mushy middle. It is the biggest trap of all time. And then all of a sudden, the Rangers in 2 or 3 years leapfrog over you, and you're like, well, what the hell happened? Let the vets do their thing, whether it's win or lose. Let these kids learn how to win at the professional level in Hamilton and in Bridgeport. Look at what Washington's done. It's worked for Washington. It has worked for Dallas. It has worked for Florida. But when it comes to the main team, you now have that attraction. You now have that star player. With the resources, yeah. Folks, this for me, Gary, I don't know. This has got like 93 written all over it in a couple of seasons. This is 93. This is
90.
For those.
This is 92.
Fair.
92.
Fair. And for those of you too young to remember, think of this team as the Buffalo Sabres this year. Not with this amount of losing. But that push to finally get up and surprise everyone, the Islanders are going to be there. I said this before in the show. I think Bo Horvat could absolutely turn into the Steve Yzerman and win 2 cups with the Islanders. He may not do it as a first liner, but he'll do it as a third liner and a fourth liner. He'll still be here. He's not leaving.
No.
He's not leaving. He sees what's going on here. Let them cook, let them simmer. I don't care. Just leave them there. Oh, wait. Did you see, what the hell did you see at the trade? Shen should have went for a second, third, June. Yeah, see, I don't give a shit about this season. I can't emphasize that enough. I knew, and I said this on season one, episode 1. The Islanders were going to be in a transitional year. For the next 2 or 3 years, I don't have them in the playoffs. But there's a business side to this where the owners want them to be as competitive as possible. And Matthew Schaefer changed that.
This is not the status quo Islanders anymore.
No. My humble opinion, well, my I honestly thought the Islanders would have gotten a top 5 pick this year. But it was the simple fact that the Islanders remain relatively healthy much longer than I thought they would. Okay, if you had an over of 65 games played for both Adam Pelech and Ryan Pulock,
Yeah.
Come on. Joe, look, if you want to say if they're horrible, wonderful. God love you. I didn't have them making the playoffs anyway. And it's not to say that Darsh can't get back into the draft. Like what? Do you need to know that you're right? I don't give a shit about this year. You all got spoiled. Thank you, Sorokin. Thank you, Schaefer. Thank you, Horvat. Whenever the team was healthy. Thank you for the help. Thank you for the trainers for keeping the team healthy. Who gives a shit? Jump off the ledge. If you're honestly worried about those 3 old guys, jump off the ledge. See ya. You're lucky you're even here having this conversation with everyone. Spoiled. We haven't. Hell, that was taken away from us back in 1982 when Pickett tried to revamp the Coliseum back then at the height of the Islanders, and Nassau said no. It's been downhill since then. Because no one wanted to trade with us. Everyone was still in the playoffs, Michael. St. Louis, I think Calgary. St. Louis, Calgary. Who else was out? The Preds weren't out yet. Like, there were only 2 or 3 teams out. No one wanted to trade. The NHL has changed in front of you guys, and you guys have got to take a bigger step back. There is absolutely no guarantee for a playoff run anymore. None.
I mean, just look
no
at
one
Florida.
wanted to trade with the Islanders.
Look at Florida. Did
We weren't
anyone
helping.
have an idea? I mean, yes, Barkov is a big reason and all that, but still, with the team that they had, can you imagine them being eliminated today? Come on, guys. It's not your mother's NHL anymore. It's a new league, baby. And you got to come up to it. And this is not the same organization.
What do I think about the Bridgeport move to Hamilton? I hate to be that Debbie Downer again, but yeah, this needed to happen.
Yep.
No
question.
Bridgeport,
although we like it, although we liked going there.
The experience was cool, no doubt. The city itself, the scenery isn't great anymore.
Never really was.
And no, the players do not live there. I know where they, I know the general areas. The areas where they live is really nice, but the city itself is not an attraction anymore.
No, I don't think it ever really was. I don't think it ever really was, to be honest.
Yeah.
But here's my prediction.
Yeah.
28-29, the Rangers are going to move to Bridgeport. That's my prediction, because they went out of Hartford in the worst way. That place is a bigger dump, and I think it would be for a Ranger organization. I think that'll be a smart business decision to move them down. But that's my opinion.
Trumbull or favor.
But and again, you're moving a team to a market that's hockey nuts.
Right.
It's literally halfway between Toronto and Buffalo. So that fan base itself doesn't know which way to turn. And unfortunately, the organizations of the teams that played there were horrible. You're bringing a Darsh organization and an Islander organization to a city that just got a $400 million renovation of their arena. For those of you younger fans, you may not know, but the Canada Cups in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, the finals of the game were played in what was called then the old Cops Coliseum, which is now the TD Arena in Hamilton, Ontario.
Right.
So you've got a crazed fan base there. And who do I know on this team that came from that area?
He's not going to see it, but yeah,
Bueller?
Could be Schaefer.
Bueller?
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. I guarantee
I was going to go Luff on you because Luff's from that area. Luff is from that Hamilton area.
Yeah, exactly. But you're going, again, I think they were lucky to get 2,500 fans a game in Bridgeport. That number is going to be at least 3 times that much in Hamilton. And with the rivalry between that and the Maple Leafs, when you have the Marlies coming to town, it's going to be crazy. And you got the Amerks in Rochester, 2 hours away. Yeah. I'm glad this team doesn't have to see the Providence Bruins and the Hartford Wolfpack 12 times a year. It'll be a lot better.
Or Pittsburgh or Scranton, to be honest with you.
Or Scranton, yeah. Or Allentown, or whatever the hell they're called these days.
Lehigh Valley.
Lehigh Valley, yes.
Yeah. I kind of agree. I don't. Yeah, I'm not in. I won't miss Providence. I won't miss Scranton. So we'll see how this other league turns out.
Right.
But yeah, no, this was a good move. Joe, I love you here, bud, but no one wanted to trade with the Islanders because the other teams wanted the Islanders farm system. I said that back in October and early November. Nothing had changed. So let me ask you, who did you want instead of Shen? And I will probably come up with a trade proposal because that's what I got told anyway. So you tell me who you wanted just for shits and giggles there, Joe, because no one wanted to trade with the Islanders because the Islanders were not willing to give up the farm. That was back in November. Is the season over? For me, yes. But this is still a good season no matter what. I don't even care what the end result is. If they make the playoffs, wonderful. I would love to see them make the playoffs, but do I think the season is over after the last couple of games that, the effort? Absolutely. I think it's burnout.
They're going to have to do a Daniel LaRusso, Mr. Miyagi turnaround in order.
Oh, shit. Someone break that knee. Season is not over. Atta boy. All right, folks. Everyone in the chat room. Is your season over? Is your Islanders season over? Come on now. Is your season over? Yeah.
Again, until it's mathematically, I'm still going to say no. But
And
it
damn
hurts.
I
It hurts.
hate you.
No,
They're
again,
not eliminated.
numbers.
No,
I'm
you went the
numbers. I'm a
math
number
part.
guy.
You went
I'm a
the
number
math
guy.
part. You suck. No, they're not eliminated yet. No, and even I have to concede to that. Bullshit. Season is not over. First 5 minutes tonight will tell us a lot. No doubt. Absolutely. And
I am the Swami, by the way.
no. You are not getting two nicknames here. You get to keep one. Swami or the Emeritus. Take one.
No,
I'm not
I'll
dealing
take
with
both.
two. No, you're not taking both. I don't care if you own this site or whatnot. This is bullshit. I'm not dealing with both of them.
Oh, you are
Absolutely
spicy
not.
this morning.
I'm just tired of
your coffee.
I'm tired of the infighting. I'm
Yeah.
tired of the infighting between Islander fans. Okay?
Well, we've had it for 40 years. What makes now any different?
Because everyone's right. But it's just at different times. Yes, there was a little more promise. The negative side was like, we've kind of seen this we've seen this before. Okay? Everyone's been right.
Open your aperture. Open your aperture up. Don't look like this. Open it up. That's all I'm telling you.
Cop out. We'll be competitive tonight. That's my gut. Yeah. Cop out.
When's Tommy having that drink?
Yeah. The again, and this is also probably me as well. When you're doing shows like this and when you've been blogging for so long, you just can't be a fan anymore. You have to break yourself out and be more of NHL, more of the league, study and learn the league and not just be a fan. And I think that's where I have my frustrations with everyone. Because I have not changed my expectations of this team. They exceeded it, no doubt, but to change expectations mid-season, it just puts in more stress on you. And no thank you. You know, if you're wrong, learn from it. So, alrighty.
I don't go on X, so don't even tell me about that. Ask me or anything.
Why Shenfer first? To get rid of Druin? It's a business move. This is what we're both going to agree on, Joe. It was a business move. Was it a great move? No. That was a business move. And
although I will stay again because of what one of his major responsibilities has, I'm gonna delay my vote on that and put an extension because
I was going to say it's an investment.
We'll see how the world of Mr. Ritchie turns out. Because I mean, not that he hasn't gotten help and all this stuff, but I mean, we've seen it. You see it on the bench. From what I've been told, you see it a lot in practice. He has really been working on Cal. And you can't tell me that in the 13 games that Shen has played, that Cal Ritchie's game has not gone up a step. It's improved. And that's the kind of thing that can accelerate your growth come 12, 24, 36 months down the road.
Right. That's the investment I was going to talk about. Right.
Yes, that's your emeritus speaking.
We'll talk about Ritchie later on. That's for another show.
Right. Yeah, he's about ready to die here.
Yeah. Okay. So, folks, thank you for coming on. This has been a spirited show. Please follow us on X at Isles Talk. Follow us and like us on Facebook. Please like this video. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube. The numbers are going up every week. We love you guys. For those of you celebrating, happy Passover, happy Easter. And one more quick announcement from me. This might be a little bit of a sabbatical for me specifically. I am definitely coming back to do a season in review show, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to leave you guys high and dry for like the last week or two, at least, maybe more. For those of you who have known, I've been in the long-term care facilities now for well over 15 years, and I had to stop after COVID. Family matters have brought me back into the long-term care facility process, not actually going back into that actual field, but family matters have presented that for me again. And with work, the stress level is just a little too much at the moment, and I have to cut down on something for now. And unfortunately, it has to be Isles Talk. So family first, and we'll come back. We'll do the Islanders season in review. To be honest with you, I don't know if I'll be able to cover the draft yet. I may just have to take the whole summer off. I'm not sure yet. We'll play that by ear, but you're definitely going to get one more show from us.
And who knows? You might
In a
have
couple of
me.
weeks.
You might have me jump on
Yeah.
if we make the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. We'll
Maybe-
let Gary have his moment.
Yeah, or maybe we'll do a water cooler talk during the game. I would like to do that. So we'll
Fair enough.
we'll play that. We'll play that by ear.
So, yep. Sorry, guys. But family first. Take care of your family, and then we'll all come back. So
Amen
again,
to that, Paul. All the
Happy-
prayers and thoughts are from everybody that's on here. I'm sure are with you, and again, that goes double.
and the rest
for
of you
Paul
guys
and
have got family stuff going on. Our thoughts and prayers are with you guys here on this Easter weekend. Guys, have a safe weekend. Enjoy the rest of your playoffs, which technically have already started, and we'll see if you're in the playoffs, the real playoffs later on. But be safe, take care, and let's go Islanders.